Hello, everyone. I'm Evan Doran, Associate Editor at Modern Machine Shop, and I'll be your moderator today. Today's webinar, Beyond Machine Monitoring, Executing Work with Automated MES, is presented by Bill Byther, CEO and co-founder of MachineMetrics. His presentation will discuss how to connect machine monitoring with ERP software to create a full manufacturing execution system, and why this could be useful for many shops. If you have questions for Bill, please use the Q&A box on the right side of your screen. As a reminder, today's webinar is being recorded and will be available for on-demand viewing shortly after today's session. With that, I'll turn it over to Bill. Take it away.
Great. Thanks, Evan, and really glad to be here today. Hope you're all having a good afternoon. And so today I'll be presenting on how and why we should all be looking beyond just machine monitoring. If you've known about MachineMetrics over the past 10 years, you're probably, you think of us as a machine monitoring platform. But this presentation is really about how we're evolving from a machine monitoring platform to a configurable MES that's built specifically for discrete and contract manufacturing. And this is helping our customers move from just monitoring machines to executing production more effectively. So you might have noticed my background here, not quite typical. I'm just going to share with you where I am right now. If any of you are following me on LinkedIn, you might have seen that over the past 7 weeks, I've been traveling the country visiting customers. Originally starting in Massachusetts. You can see right now I'm actually sitting inside that van in Salt Lake City area at Stanbury Island. So thankfully, given we have good connection over Starlink, we should be fine and smooth. And if you notice that I'm going to be in your area, definitely send me a message, and I'd be happy to stop by. So getting back to the core presentation here. So let me just advance this here. So really, if you look at today's manufacturing environment, we really are demanding more than just monitoring equipment. The transition from machine monitoring to MES has really provides advantages to integrate real-time machine data directly into your operational and business decisions. And by connecting your machines with your ERP system, you can more effectively optimize your processes, reduce downtime, enhance your ability to deliver on time consistently. And this presentation really explores how an automated MES solution that's built specifically for machining and discrete manufacturers can be combined with your real-time data and create these real business outcomes, and really has the opportunity to transform your manufacturing capabilities. So if you let me go on to the next here. So the original challenge of machine monitoring is still really there for the most of the market. What we see is that the advantage of connecting these machines can give you the the ability to really see what's happening on your shop floor. You can understand if your machines are when they're running, when they're not, if they're alarmed out. It provides continuous improvement leaders the ability to really understand where the bottlenecks are coming from, and then reduce those bottlenecks. And we really started seeing about 10 years ago the advent of machine monitoring companies like MachineMetrics that have made this process easier. And what that's doing is it's helping to automatically calculate OEE. And what's OEE? Really think of it as just your machine performance. How is the machine performing compared to the capability that this machine has to produce. And with you hear a lot about Industry 4.0 and the promises of industrial IoT, and what you see is that there's so many different types of machines and controls and brands and years that it's been difficult to really capture data from these machines and tie into your business systems. So MachineMetrics set out to solve this problem. And over the past 10 years, we've built a solution that has done a great job at monitoring your machines, making it easy, getting the data that you need to really drive production. The approach that we really took is to make it simple. And what we're doing is we're pulling data automatically from your machines. We've created a unified data model so that if you have different types of machines, they act differently, they report differently. We unify all that so you can have a single platform and system that allows you to report on your machine performance. We minimize or eliminate any real manual data input because we can automatically identify what parts and operations are running based on the machine data, and that process is pretty simple. We've really made that easy over these years. And what this does is that it helps quickly turn this machine data into actionable insights, and really improving your production outcomes. So what this has really given us is, and I'm going to start to talk about these core capabilities in an MES. One of those core capabilities really is OEE performance monitoring, and providing that real-time visibility into your equipment effectiveness. Really, there's your availability, which is essentially the utilization for when that machine can run. There's your performance, how fast can you make these parts when you're running, and quality. And what we've done is that we've automatically can calculate your availability based on your working shifts, and the when that machine is supposed to be running. We'll automatically calculate your performance based on either your cycle time standards from your ERP system, or we can even auto calculate your ideal cycle time based on history. And that combined with real-time dashboards, configurable dashboards, with the ability to benchmark, provide workflow alerts, really has provided the ability for continuous improvement managers and manufacturing engineers to use that data to improve your production, reduce your bottlenecks, understand and improve your downtime, your cycle times, and so forth. So the other core capability that we've really achieved over these years is the downtime tracking and production analytics. So when your machine is down, it isn't just about understanding that the machine is down; it's why, and providing tools to either through an operator interface to indicate why the machine is down, add that human context to the machine data, and in many cases, being able to automatically classify downtime. You can understand not just that the machine is down, but why, and really implement improvements to reduce those downtime reasons. In addition, you can really look at your production analytics. So you tie that into the part that's running, and now you can understand your cycle times and the history of those times. How much time does it take the operator to change over that part, and what is that variability? And that benchmarking can help you identify whether you're really running well or not. All this is available in MachineMetrics as a core capability. And so moving on to what this presentation is really about, which is transitioning from the monitoring capabilities to a full MES. And now let's just talk a little bit about what an MES really is. An MES is provides the ability, the information to tie in the work that's actually happening. It's a software layer that connects what's happening on the shop floor with what the demand is in your operational systems. It brings it all together in real time to provide the ability to execute work more effectively. And that's really what this is. What where what where we're expanding really is to make that super easy through these integrations with ERP, and touching on that in a second here. So, but if you look back at where we were 10 years ago and where we are today, is you see that ERP systems have built in some MES capabilities. In particular, it's being able to generate and manage work orders based on your sales. This is really for contract manufacturers, and but that's really where these ERP systems have stopped, and this work, it has to be manually driven by the operator. So there really isn't context around how long should it take to create this part. when did it start and end? If you're running this on, like, for example, a palletized system, it's you start to you really lose track of when work was really happening. This happens in unattended operations as well. Having that real-time machine data is not something that these ERP systems are really good at or support at all. And you see that that's one of the reasons why these MES implementations fail, is because that part is really hard. That's the part that MachineMetrics has really taken on. So, not having that real-time machine data, and also, the scheduling capabilities in these systems are they can be, you know decent for that initial planning, but as soon as this work hits the floor, everything changes, right? And you can see whiteboards that are used to manage a schedule, and if you don't keep them up to date manually, you start to lose track at what's actually running. And understanding your on-time delivery a lot of times is kind of a hunch. You don't really have that data feeding back in real time to understand, when you're going to be able to deliver. Uh, the labor ticket entry is very manual, and some of that information does flow back, but it can be inaccurate because you're not really tied into your real machine activity. And so the other thing that we're seeing is that the operators have to, at the end of every shift or every job, they have to walk over to a terminal. Usually it's away from the machine, and sometimes there's lines at the end of a shift. So that's not a great operating experience, and those interfaces can be really tricky. They require a lot of training and onboarding, and that experience really needs to be better. So that's really where MachineMetrics has come in, and building this intelligent MES that is purpose built for you, for this audience, job shops and discrete manufacturers. The MES, like I said, it is that software layer between the shop floor and the ERP, and we come right into the middle there. We're able to connect your machines and use the operational context from your ERP system to provide that real-time understanding of what's happening and the ability to execute work more effectively. This is really critical, especially for manufacturers that change over a lot. That's where an MES becomes even more important, because tracking that can be really challenging, and understanding some of the nuances that happen when a machine alarms out, and we don't know until the next day that the delivery is going to be late. Having that information can help set expectations for customers, and also help provide the right notices for your shop floor supervisors and operators to take action more quickly. So the way that this works is that, similar to how we built machine connectors, where we have a unified data model for machines, we've done the same thing for ERP data that's relevant to MES. So we have built very deep ERP connections that require very little IT overhead. Um, these um, these systems run on our edge infrastructure, so that we have a very scalable infrastructure that runs on either your own hardware or our hardware, and it doesn't require a big installation process. It's literally just sharing credentials. You input those credentials into the system, and these ERP systems will start to then sync data from directly from your either on-prem or cloud ERP into MachineMetrics, and that data is linked to your machines, your people in MachineMetrics, so that everything flows together, everything connects. And then this information also writes back to your ERP when labor transactions are reviewed by the operator and then submitted back to the ERP. And that process we've made very simple. We've made it very efficient. Onboarding can take just a few days or a couple of weeks to go through the process of getting it set up, uh, training your team, and then going into production. And we have connectors, out of the box connectors for Epicor 10, Epicor Kinetic, Infor Visual, Infor Sightline, Infor XA, JobOff Squared. And because this is newer, we're still working on additional connectors. We have quite a few that are coming soon, and these connectors are something that we're building ourselves, and they can go relatively quickly depending on your system and how your system is customized or configured. And all of this is then essentially required, that ERP connection, to then take it to that next level. And now we're getting into the core capability number 3, which is the work order tracking, tracking labor and cost. So what you see here is the interface, our interface, when the operator will either sign out for the day, they move from setup to production, or they're done with work. They're presented with an interface to review the work that MachineMetrics has tracked, provide any adjustments as needed. So if you're doing a rework and there's an extra part, you can make that adjustment, and then that is submitted to the ERP, where then that creates that labor transaction. And what this does is that that ties into your schedule, so the operator knows what work is next, and it provides a single interface for not only understanding, what work is expected, any alerts, notifications for things like changing tools, but it's also that same interface is used for tracking labor and reviewing what work has been done. So I want to point out that we don't often send data automatically from the machine. You still want to have that human review, because this is an accounting transaction, and that's the part that is part of this additional core capability for tracking labor. All right, so the next core capability really is in real-time scheduling and improving your visibility into work in process. So this interface that you see here is really pulling that information, that initial planning that you're doing in your ERP system, where you're expecting, that these jobs are going to start at certain times. They have delivery targets. We're pulling that data in, and then giving you and tying that to your machine data, so that in real time we can report back on when we expect that work to be completed. And the process today is often through whiteboards or Excel spreadsheets, or even worse, sometimes it's just chaotic, right? As soon as that work hits the floor, it's disconnected. Operators are trying to get work done, but nobody knows really what's going to run next and what jobs are late. We're pulling all that all together in MachineMetrics in our production scheduling application, and this has been a huge hit for our customers. It completely replaces that process through whiteboards. It allows you to drag drop. So if you want to make changes on the floor, you can. And we'll also highlight when jobs are expected to be late, when they are late. And then if a particular job is not ready to be worked on because there's a previous operation that hasn't completed, we'll let you know. And that really provides that visibility and that feedback to help manage your work more effectively, and help with your on-time delivery. And then the other thing that we're actually working on adding is adding additional optimizations. So we're leveraging AI to provide an optimal path of production based on capabilities of the machine, of your workers, of material, and that's a feature that'll be coming later, based on all the data that we've been pulling in, and the feedback that we've heard from our customers. All right. So just to review what we touched on, this is the integration of the MachineMetrics 4 core MES capabilities deliver a powerful suite of tools that can really enhance your manufacturing efficiency. This will help you reduce your operational costs, ensure greater predictability and control over your process. The original 2, OE and downtime tracking, have been available through MachineMetrics, but what's really new and exciting is what we've done through work order management, labor tracking, and scheduling. And all together, these 4 capabilities really offer an out-of-the-box solution that gives you the MES that you've really been looking for, that's really hasn't been available in the market until now. But I will also point out that This isn't everything with MES. One of the things that makes MES really difficult is that every manufacturer is a little bit different, and we've identified that these core four capabilities are very similar across our customers, but there are differences. So what what we've really done is we provided configurability in our platform. So it isn't just, having out of the box capabilities. It's about being able to extend what you already have. For example, we have the ability to build your own dashboards and reports, and you can use that in your daily production meetings or Gemba walks. And but then if you want to, if there's a particular view or there's a data set that you want to pull into this, you're not restricted. If you have some developer experience or IT on your team, especially with leveraging some of the new AI tools, you can use MachineMetrics to then build a custom widget for your dashboard, or build an integration using our REST and GraphQL APIs. Um, there's some of our larger customers are adopting this methodology called a unified namespace, or UNS, and where the data is being sent and received from this. It's called an MQTT broker. It's a streaming data. It's another way to interface. We support that as well. So we're very flexible when it comes to implementing across our customers, and we need to do that because of the differences that we've seen in in different manufacturing processes. So what that really provides is this kind of a detailed view here. But if you put it all together, just to kind of review, we are connecting machines in real time through our machine connectors. We're connecting ERP data in real time through our ERP connectors. That's all pulled in to our platform, and from there, all that data is accessible through our APIs. So you can integrate with other systems, like we have connections with maintenance CMS systems. But then what we provide out of the box is those four core capabilities highlighted in green. So there's OEE, production analytics, downtime management, work order management, and scheduling intelligence. But also we have that configurability. So if you want to create your own reports or configurable dashboards, or if there's additional applications like a QMS system that is very unique to your needs, we can tie into that, or you can build your own flows. You have the developer expertise on our APIs. And another example of some of the things that we've added on top of that are we have tool monitoring capabilities to detect the tool life of your machine. We have anomaly detection. So if you have a quality issue that's due to a defect in a tool, we can detect that. Other capabilities beyond those core four that sometimes are that they're usually the amount of customers that can find use of that are a little bit more limited. So tool anomaly detection, there's just for CNC machines, for example. But you can then build additional applications on top of that platform through our APIs. And where I wanted to also leave this is, this is just an example of a recent customer of ours, Kirby Risk, who rolled out MachineMetrics with a connection to, in this case, this connection is with JobBoss. And the benefits, well, first, it took them about, I believe it was about 3 weeks from beginning to end to roll this out in production. And they were able to see immediate benefits. And and this is just a quote from Dave Roberts, the CI leader there. And they really liked that we were able to show them the jobs, and updated their expected completion time based on historical data, how we've seen this run in the past. And that's really helped them to make adjustments as needed if they're looking to deliver late. The other thing that I've heard about this company is that after we rolled out the labor tracking application, they had this what was called the line at the end of the shift. That was completely eliminated because every operator interface, which was a PC at the machine or a tablet at the machine, that they didn't have to walk away from the machine to review their labor, and it really improved operators' life, not having to wait in line and then use that clunky UI to enter in their data. So we're really seeing those benefits across our customers. Any new customer MachineMetrics, we're onboarding both machine and ERP at the same time, and it's really accelerated the value that our customers are seeing and enhanced that value as well. Because now, as you see, we're really a full intelligent MES for discrete manufacturers. So with that, I know we have some time for questions. I wanted to keep this a little shorter than your typical hour webinar, and would love to open this up. Ask me anything about MachineMetrics, about our MES, the van, whatever you'd like. I'm definitely open to it.
Sure, thanks, Bill. As you just said, we are transitioning into our Q&A period. Again, if anyone has any questions, please use the Q&A box on the right side of your screen to submit those. And our first question, what types of data does MachineMetrics pull from an ERP?
Oh, good question. So we're really focused on the work information on from an ERP, but really what we're doing is that we're bringing in your resources, so resources, resource groups, tying that into machines and machine groups and MachineMetrics. We're bringing in your people or your users, operators, and we're tying that in together. And then what it is, it's your part routings or masters, it's your work order and work order operations, and the labor ticket information. That's the information that's pulled from the ERP. Like, we're not pulling your accounting information, your sales information, all of that. It's really targeted to the MES data that's required for shop floor work.
Sure. And then how does the production schedule update expected completion time?
So so what we do is that when we first start running like a brand new part, we'll base the expectation off of your standard. But as soon as we start running that part, we actually look at the cycle time that we're actually running, or if we've run that part in the past, we'll use that information to drive when we expect that to be completed. And then other information such as your schedules. Are you planning to run this machine on off shifts? What has been your typical amount of downtime on that machine? We factor all of that in to then give you an accurate estimate of your completion time.
Sure. And then how well does this whole system work in the case of legacy machines?
So it actually, surprisingly, it works really well with legacy machines. Uh, what um, what we do is that for a legacy machine, we'll pull data. If we can't get it from a control, we'll actually use sensors to give you basically two data points that really matter. One is the machine running, like, is the machine running or not, and the other is your part cycles. So if you have so as long as you have that data, you can tell how many parts are run, if the machine is running or not, and that's all that's really required to drive this MES. We also have introduced the ability to monitor manual stations. So if you have assembly, other places that's more human, uh, there's more human interaction and less about the machine. We can, in that case, have the operator tell us how many parts are made, or additional sensors that are used in the manual station to track that as well.
Sure. And can you talk a little bit about some of the common hardware needed for MES?
Yeah, so the actual hardware that's needed, I mean, in some cases it could be zero, right? So if you have modern machines and those machines are networked, we'll pull data right from the control, and then the if you have a virtualization setup or server, you can actually run our edge hardware right there. So in that case, there's no hardware required at all. Where you start to introduce hardware are for machines that require additional sensors, or if you need to add, say, tablets on your machines, or if you don't have the infrastructure to run your software on the edge, we can provide that as well. So it really depends on the implementation. It can go from no hardware required at all to definitely some hardware needed to get data from your machines.
Sure. And then can you talk a little bit about how alerts and workflows are configured?
Yeah, so the our automation section is essentially there's rules that you can set up that will allow you to alert. For example, if a tool life is about to is about to end, you can set up an alert to alert the supervisor or operator. That's just pulling machine data. It's all done through like there's various triggers that you can set up, and then rules for that, and then there's actions in terms of what actions need to be taken. Uh, that would be that would be how you set up those workflow rules.
Sure. And just a reminder to anyone that if you have questions, we are coming up on the end of what we have right now. But if you have questions, please use that Q&A box on the right side of your screen to submit those. We do have one more. Does tool anomaly detection rely exclusively on machine control data from the machine, or do you need additional sensor installation? And
Oh,
are features predictive or real time?
yes, yeah, good question. So our tool anomaly detection, which you can learn more on the website machinemetrics.com. It currently relies on the control connection and FANUC-based controls. So the way that works is that we're pulling high frequency data from the servo motors in the that are communicated through the FANUC control, and we use that to essentially build a physics and AI model that will let you know that if there's a problem. So essentially, as soon as you change over to a different part, um, this is self-training, and it will then identify when there's an anomaly, when there's an issue, either when say there's a tool breakage, which isn't necessarily predictive. In that case, it could be that's the action, and we can stop the machine from creating poor quality parts. Or in some cases, we can predict a problem, right? So you'll see over time that there's a problem with the tool or the material, and often the operator wouldn't know that the parts that are being made are scrap until they inspect it, and we can, in some cases, we can detect that as well. So it could be very predictive.
Sure, thank you. Um, and then can you talk a little bit about the kinds of hardware, software used to fetch sensor data from machines?
Yeah. So
Just for the overall software.
I mean, so the in terms of what I mean, MachineMetrics is a cloud-based software product, so there's not a lot that you have to install. There essentially we have an edge container that's running on premise, and the way that that's set up is that you can purchase an edge hardware from us, a little green box, and configure it and put it on the network and go, and that's it. Um, or you can choose to install that on your own hardware. And then in terms of getting data from for example, like tied into the anomaly detection, there's no additional hardware required. It's just a network connection to those machines, which I would point out is really important that you have a good network, shop floor network. So you want to make sure that the network is reliable, and that's really important to making sure that you have a good system to monitor your machines.
Sure. And then can you talk a little bit about how pricing works for existing MachineMetrics users or for somebody coming to it fresh?
Sure. So the MES capabilities with scheduling intelligence is a an upcharge from the machine monitoring. So you'll want to talk to your account executive about that. But it's a annual fee per machine, and then that's how our pricing works also in general. So for every machine, so we don't care about how many users you have. You can have as many users of Machine Metrics as you want, but our pricing model is a subscription per machine per year.
Sure. And then are you able to talk a little bit about the forthcoming SAP integrations? Any further details on that?
Yeah, so there's two integrations that we are in process of working on. There's the SAP S4 HANA, And the the good thing about SAP and the bad thing about SAP is that a lot of the integrations are different. So those generally require some customizations. So we're able to work with SAP. For HANA is a bit easier. Then ECC is an older version, which requires a little bit more effort. So each of those requires a additional fee to build that integration. But we have experience there, and what you saw on my previous slide is that we're really trying to work on a more an easier integration for S4HANA that will require less customization. So that's really with SAP. Some of the other more mid-market ERPs, there's less customization required, and it's a bit more out of the box. It really depends on the ERP system that you're using and how much you've customized it.
Sure. All right. Let's see here. We do have another question about, without having any kind of a hardware, is it possible to take data from the machine and view it internally?
Oh yeah. As I said, there's really no hardware required. So the MachineMetrics data is available through a few different methods. So you can go into the user experience, you can download the data into a CSV. More commonly, you'd use our GraphQL APIs to pull in that data. And then if you have the infrastructure, if you have an MQTT broker, we can actually push that data straight into your MQTT broker. So there's many ways to pull that data out. It really depends on your requirements. And I would say in general, we should be able to support that.
Sure. All right. Massive thank you to everyone who submitted questions today, and of course to Bill as well. If anyone has further questions or wants to learn more, feel free to contact MachineMetrics directly for assistance. Thank you once again to Bill for speaking today. And as a reminder, today's presentation has been recorded and will be available for on-demand viewing shortly after we finish up here today. With that, thank you for taking the time out of your week to listen to us, and have a great rest of your day.